We're here with Brandon Tonnemer today to talk a little bit about QuickBooks 2011. Brandon, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your experience with QuickBooks?
Sure. Well, my name is Brandon, and I've been working with QuickBooks since 1996. I was working on QuickBooks 2.0, which was the first Windows version of QuickBooks way long ago.
So what feature are you going to tell us about today?
Today, Michelle, we're going to talk about Balance Sheet by Class report. It's an exciting new report we have for the first time in this new version of QuickBooks, and customers have been asking about it since 1997.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about the Balance Sheet by Class.
Sure. Well, let me back up a little bit and tell you what classes are. Classes allow us to actually get a good depiction of income and expenses by class. You can see that in a profit and loss report, but we've never been able to see that on a balance sheet report with assets, liabilities, and equity. Now we're able to see that accurately on the balance sheet report, and thus businesses can make better decisions based upon that.
Well, can you give an example of what that might look like?
Sure. You might have a company or a business might have a couple different divisions. Perhaps like say for instance a construction business might have remodels and new construction, and they're not really sure what assets they have for each or even what payables they have for each. For instance, new construction might cost more than remodeling. So now they're able to build this report that would separate the two, and they can accurately see what each division is doing. Whereas before, it was lumped up all in one report, and they couldn't really make an accurate business decision based upon that.
Okay, great. Well, let's take a look at the feature.
Sure.
The Balance Sheet by Class report, available in QuickBooks Premier 2011 and above, shows a financial snapshot of a company's worth as of a specific date. QuickBooks segments this report by class. Each class appears as a column. The last column is the total of all classes and should contain the same numbers that would appear on a standard balance sheet report within QuickBooks. This report is date-driven, with the current date being the default. The date can be changed to any date prior to the current date. Notice there is an unclassified column on this report, as well as one for each class and the total. Any amount from any item or transaction affecting this report that has not been assigned a specific class will appear in this column. You may need to quick zoom to additional reports to identify individual items or transactions to be reclassified. The report can be modified to filter out specific classes, but unclassified transactions cannot be filtered out. And totals on a balance sheet by class that has had one or more classes filtered out will not match the totals as shown on the balance sheet standard or detail report. The default basis for a balance sheet by class is accrual, but it can also be run on a cash basis. Running this report on a cash basis presents challenges due to the way cash basis transactions are handled within QuickBooks, and may lead to unbalanced classes which will appear as negative numbers at the end of the report. There are specific steps to correct the out-of-balance classes on a cash basis balance sheet by class report available in QuickBooks Help. The balance sheet by class is an advanced report that differs from other QuickBooks reports. Specifically, QuickBooks calculates the class allocations for the report each time you run it. Because of this, you may experience some unexpected results, such as the out-of-balance classes mentioned earlier. Understanding and fixing these errors requires a strong background in accounting and a good working knowledge of QuickBooks. This report is not recommended for use by the average QuickBooks user. We strongly recommend that an accountant or pro-advisor oversee any use of this report.